Get me that signal. We need more power.
Welcome to another Voice of E board game review. I'm your host Elliott Miller, and today I am looking at Road Rally USA from Mayfair Games. It's a game for 3 to 5 players designed by Carlo A. Rossi. Now the box says, "Speed is not all you get as you get behind the wheel and roar through the countryside in a wild rally race. Being first at the end of the race helps, but placing first at your scoring locations is key to victory. Maneuver your car to score your stages at just the right time, knowing that at every turn someone could trigger the scoring. Time your moves with care, and you'll take the checkered flag with the winning score. It is impossible to maintain the lead throughout the race. Each player races from identical draw decks, playing multiple cards of the same color to provide a boost of speed. But beware, you may only reshuffle your deck at gas stations along the way, and when your hand or draw pile are depleted, you're in for trouble. Race smart and bring home the gold." Well, that's from the back of the box. Let's take a look inside the box. Road Rally USA is in theme a racing game, but in reality a hand management and scoring game. There are 14 racing tiles included, including a start and a finish tile that can be set up in any number of combinations. There's both a base game and a standard game, but let me tell you something. The base game requires you to set up the track in a certain configuration by following the little marks on the corner of the tiles. That's the final tile. Here's the start tile, so you see that A. So you got to find the tile that has the A in the corner, and then match A to A and B to B and C to C until you make the entire track, which is a pain in the butt, considering that in the standard game you can lay it out any way you want to, as long as the start tile is first, and the finish tile is last, and the roads all connect together. Now there is a short game, right there. See that? Whee! One turn. So, let's assemble a track very quickly. For simplicity's sake, I didn't set up every tile. So we have a couple extra tiles here. The actual game would be a bit longer, just FYI. After you set up your track, here's the start. Over this way, here's the finish. You take these little tokens and you put them in order on each of the, so number 1 goes there, each of the little diners is what they're called. 2 goes there, 3 goes there, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And that's how your scoring gets triggered. You also have these little checkered checkpoints, and these go on the board in certain spots that are marked. If you pass a checkered checkpoint, you take that token, it counts 2, it gives you 2 points, victory points at the end of the game. Plus, when you take that, the last player gets to draw 2 cards from their deck. Ooh. We also have victory point tokens. Here's a 10, 3, and a 1. A whole stack of them that you'll get during the game. There are position tokens that each person will get during their turn. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, last. And we have our decks for our cards. Let us take a look. See, each car has a deck of cards, a corresponding car token, and a corresponding player mat. One side for the base game and one side for the standard game. Like I said, there is no real difference between the base game and the standard game except for some scoring rules and the fact that you can set up the track in any particular order that you want. So one thing you might notice, which is very odd, is that the yellow car has a black token. Why? I don't know. Game like that.
The green card has a green token, you know, the silver card has a silver token, the red card's got a red token, but the yellow card has a black token. Why that happens, you know, I don't know. What happens now is you shuffle up your deck of cards at the beginning of the game, and you get to draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says the oldest player goes first, but you know, that makes me feel old. So I would recommend determining the winner any way you wish. I mean the starting player any way you wish. This is what the cards look like. You'll have green, you'll have yellow, and you'll have red. Let's put those on the side for 1 second so I can explain these other cards. There is a stack of cards called the stage scoring cards. The first half of them have A's on the front. The later numbered cards have B's on the front. On the other side, it just has a number. These numbers, like this one, corresponds with the stage that gets scored. So, the first car to pass or reach the number 1 on the board will cause scoring for number 1 to occur. But it doesn't have to occur. Each player gets dealt a random number of a random amount of these cards. Well, it depends on the number of players, but you'll get, say, 5 cards in a 5-player game, right? And they're random. That's what I'm trying to say. So only you know which numbers you have, and you can only score twice during the course of a game. So you have to determine whether you want to score when somebody passes 10, or if it would be better for you to score at the 2 mark, or the 1 mark, or the... Wow, that's strange that they're actually in a bit of an order here. Or do you want to wait all the way till they get to 18? And that depends on your place in the pile. If you're in front and you're the one who got to the number 1, then you would want to play your scoring card, because first place gets the most points. In this case, first place we get 5 points. Second place we get 4 points. Third place we get 3 points. Fourth place we get 2 points, or they could draw 2 additional cards from their card deck. And fifth place or last place would get 1 point, or they could also draw 2 additional cards from their deck. And hand management is big, so there'll be a lot of times you'll be saying, well, I think I want to draw cards this time, so that you are planning for your big leap ahead on the track. Let me show you how a turn goes, basically. It's your turn. You're the green car starting off the game here. Woo! He's down there, trust me. You can play as many cards as you want from your hand as long as they're the same color. So, if I wanted to play my green cards, I could play these too. Then my car could move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3 along the track, right? Since I played green cards, I would get to draw 2 cards from my draw pile. If I had played yellow cards, I would only get to draw 1 card from my pile. And if I played red cards, I don't get to draw any cards from my draw pile. So, in theory, I could move 6 spaces on this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I don't get to draw any cards, so next turn I would only have 3 cards in my hand. Also, you don't need to play all of the cards of that color. I could just play 1 red card if I wanted to, or 1 green card if I wanted to, and save the other one in my hand. Then I get to draw 2 cards, and in effect I'm kind of building my hand up by doing so. After you do that, you would go and check to see if there's any scoring that takes place because a player reached the scoring spot. You know, this happens at the end of the round, after each player has taken their turn. Then you have the scoring stage, where everybody gets to check to see if they've passed or reached one of these markers. Now, if you're in first place and you're actually on the marker, you get to take that, and it's worth 2 victory points at the end of the game for you. 2 bonus victory points. Shuffling is very important because you will slowly run out of cards in your draw deck. Okay? but you don't automatically get to shuffle your discards into your deck. The only time you get to shuffle your discards into your deck is when either one, you've run out of cards completely in your hand. So what happens in that case is you shuffle your deck and you draw 2 cards, and that's it. That's the end of your turn. You lose the rest of your turn. Or if you happen to land on a space with a gas station, there's a little gas station right there. At the beginning of your next turn, you're allowed to shuffle the deck. So you kind of got to plan ahead for this kind of thing. If the person with the scoring card doesn't want to score that token, then this token is just removed. So you don't have to score the token. If you're not in first place when they reach number 1, you're in last place, you could say, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to use up one of my only 2 scoring times. So you keep quiet and nobody scores that number, and it just goes back into the box and it's gone. And then your opportunity to score number 1 is also gone. So you just got to keep in mind, you got to do it twice before the end of the game to get the most points. The important thing when you play your scoring one is you get double points for whatever place you're in if you're the one playing the scoring card. So if I'm the one who's scoring number 18 and I'm in first place, I will get 10 points instead of that 5 points. Also, there might be a clam that attacks. Ha! Blah! Okay, there might not be a clam that attacks. Sorry. Each round, the player's order changes based on their position in the pack. So first place goes first, second place goes second, and so on. The game ends in the round that one or more players reach the finish line. Final scoring takes place based on their finish order, and the player with the most points wins the game. That's it.
What is interesting here is that you don't automatically win by coming in first place. It's the victory points that determines the winner. There's a lot of strategy that you can use in this game in order to maximize your points. You need to plan ahead for shuffling your deck. You need to plan ahead so that you do not run out of cards in your hand. You need to play your cards right and save up some cards in order to make your move at the right time. But you don't want to let yourself get too far behind or you'll never catch up. This game is simple to learn and fun to play. It lasted a little long for me for what it is. The game took over an hour to play, and I was ready for it to end before we got to the final tile, but the rules have an option for a short game variant. Basically, you remove half of the racing tiles and scoring tokens to cut the game time in half. I don't think you need to be that drastic. I would pull out a couple of tiles and experiment until you get to that perfect game length, according to the equation entertainment divided by game length equals maximum amount of fun. That's my equation. Yes, it is. What bugs me again about this particular game is that it's for 3 to 5 players only. There is no option for 2 players. But let me tell you, I easily adapted the game for 2 players by running a team of 2 cars for each player. The player with the highest combined score at the end wins. This leads to a whole different set of strategies as you're vying for the most advantageous positions for 2 cars rather than just 1. It is cumbersome to handle the 2 cars, I'll admit, but it's still a lot of fun and presents different challenges than the regular game. This is a good game. There is a lot more strategy under the hood than you would think there would be. It might be a bit confusing for younger players to explain that you don't win by coming in first, so your 7-year-old might not get it, but gamers will recognize the subtle complexities fairly quickly. Thanks for joining me in this review of Road Rally USA. Let me know if you found this review helpful by leaving a comment or sending me an email at Elliott_Miller at voiceofe.com or on my Lantis on Board Game Geek. Make sure to subscribe to the Voice of E channel on YouTube, as I'll have plenty of gaming, entertainment, and comic book coverage this year. It should be a lot of fun. Thanks again, and until next time.